What if history took a different turn? What if centuries before Columbus, a different European flag was planted on American soil? Not for conquest, but for survival. We all know the Vikings briefly landed in North America around the year 1000 AD. We've seen the archaeological evidence at Lanceau Meadows in Newfoundland, but their settlement was temporary, a fleeting footprint in the sand. But what if it wasn't? What if they stayed? How would the world we know today be fundamentally, unrecognizably different? Let's journey back 1,000 years and explore a timeline that never was. A world where Vikings didn't just visit America, they built it. Our story begins not with a grand fleet, but with a handful of longships and a man named Leif Erikson. Driven by tales of a verdant land to the west, he and his followers establish a small settlement they call Vinland. Unlike in our history, this settlement isn't abandoned after a few harsh winters. Instead, a second, then a third wave of Norse settlers arrive, fleeing overcrowding and political strife in Iceland and Greenland. They bring with them their families, their livestock, and their iron tools. The initial years are brutal. The North American winters are far harsher than they anticipated, and their farming techniques, honed in Scandinavia, are ill-suited to this new soil. They struggle, they starve, and many perish. Their first encounters with the indigenous peoples, whom they call the Skrælings, are tense and often violent, just as the sagas describe. But desperation is a powerful teacher. The Norse, outnumbered and on the brink of collapse, realize they cannot survive alone. A new leader, perhaps a fictional descendant of Erikson, recognizes that trade is more valuable than conflict. They offer iron, knives, axes, nails, a metal previously unknown in North America. In return, the native tribes, a mix of Algonquin and Iroquoian peoples, offer knowledge. They teach the newcomers how to cultivate maize, squash, and beans, how to navigate the dense forests, and how to survive the unforgiving winters. It's a fragile peace punctuated by skirmishes, but it holds. For the first time, a true cultural exchange begins. Over the next 2 centuries, from 1100 to 1300, something extraordinary happens. The lines between Norse and Native American begin to blur. Intermarriage becomes common, not just a matter of convenience, but of creating alliances and merging families. Children are born who speak a Creole of Old Norse and Algonquin, who are taught to wield an iron axe and hunt with a bow, who listen to stories of both Thor and the Great Spirit. This isn't a conquest, it's a fusion. Norse longhouses begin to incorporate features of Iroquoian longhouses, creating larger, more communal living spaces fortified with Viking engineering. The Norse introduced the iron-tipped plow, revolutionizing agriculture along the eastern seaboard. In return, native metallurgical techniques, like the copper work of the Great Lakes tribes, are adapted to work with bog iron, creating unique alloys and decorative arts. A new people are born from this crucible, the Vinlandic people. They are neither fully Norse nor fully native, but a unique hybrid civilization forged in the wilderness of the New World. Their society is organized into clans, led by chieftains who can trace their lineage to both Viking jarls and native sachems. By the 1300s, this fusion has solidified into a recognizable nation. Vinland is no longer a scattered collection of settlements, but a powerful confederation of city-states stretching from the coast of modern-day New England down to the Chesapeake Bay. Their capital, a bustling port city perhaps named Ravensvik or Raven's Cove, stands at the mouth of a great river. Its architecture is a marvel. Great wooden halls, built with the precision of Viking shipwrights, but adorned with the intricate carvings and symbols of the native peoples. Stone watchtowers, reminiscent of Norse round towers, stand guard over fields of maize cultivated on a massive scale. Their military is formidable. Warriors ride into battle on a unique breed of North American horse, descended from stock brought over generations ago and adapted for the forests. They wear armor made of hardened leather and iron plates, carry steel axes and round shields, but are also masters of guerrilla warfare, taught by their native ancestors. They control the major river trade routes, They're longships, now modified for river travel, plying the waters deep into the continent's interior. They trade with the Mississippian cultures to the south and the Plains tribes to the west, their iron goods traveling thousands of miles. This Vinland is not a secret. Sporadic contact with Europe continues through Greenland and Iceland. Tales of this strange, powerful kingdom across the ocean filter back, dismissed by most as sailors' yarns, but intriguing to a few. They have no interest in European politics. Their world is America. Now picture the scene. The year is 1492. 3 small ships, the Niña, the Pinta and the Santa Maria, are spotted off the coast of the Bahamas. Christopher Columbus and his crew are exhausted but triumphant. They believe they have reached the East Indies. They make landfall, expecting to find primitive tribes and easily claim riches. Instead, they are met on the beach, not by timid islanders, but by tall, armed figures. These men have fair hair and blue eyes, but their skin is tan like leather, and their faces are painted with unfamiliar symbols. They speak a language that is utterly alien, a guttural mix of sounds Columbus has never heard. They carry swords of shining metal and wear armor that gleams in the sun. Behind them, on the horizon, rise the wooden spires of a city that has no place in their maps or their imaginations. Columbus hasn't discovered a new world. He has stumbled upon the shores of an established, powerful, and utterly unexpected nation. The great encounter is not between Europe and a vulnerable continent, but between 2 worlds, both old, both powerful, and both about to collide. The arrival of Columbus's fleet wouldn't have been the beginning of a conquest, but the start of a tense diplomatic standoff. The Vinlandic Nation, with its blended technology, immunity to many old world diseases built up over centuries of limited contact, and a deep understanding of its own lands, would have been no easy prize. History would not be one of swift colonization, but of a long, complex struggle for dominance between Europe and this new American power. Would they have become rivals, allies, or would Vinland have eventually fallen? We can only speculate, but one thing is certain. The world map would have been redrawn. The entire narrative of discovery, conquest, and the birth of the modern world would have been completely different, all because one small group of Vikings, 1,000 years ago, decided to stay. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into an alternate past, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the greatest what-ifs in history.